Greetings, masters. So today we're going to do a reverse engineering of a model that I scanned with a Mini on Fusion 360. So my workflow usually goes like this. I usually start with a Revo scan to capture, but it can be any way of capturing a point cloud. Eventually, you can use photogrammetry or something else. And then I use Cloud Compare. Um, and the Cloud Compare, what I do on Cloud Compare is basically I use it to register the point clouds. And here I did a bunch of scans, and I used it to basically capture the registration and align all the point clouds in order to have a full model point clouds, and then create a mesh from this point cloud. With this mesh next, what I usually do in my workflow, I go to Mesh Mixer, and if all you need is basically a simplified mesh, you don't need to go to Mesh Mixer. You can just go into the Windows app 3D Builder, or even in Fusion 360 you can do a remesh to simplify the mesh on the workspace in order to make it easy to work with. So for example, here on Mesh Mixer you can look at this imported scan, and you can see basically you can't really see much difference unless you look at wireframe. What I did here was half of the mesh is the original mesh from Cloud Compare, and the other half is basically a simplified mesh. Usually what you do is you do select, let's do it for in this small spot just to check, and you select the part of the mesh that you want to edit, or you can double click and select all the mesh in this case, and then you can do edit and do reduce. On that reduce, in this case we're just working on this part of the mesh, you can go usually as high as 80%, 90%, as you can see, and then you just do an accept after the calculation. And as you can see here, let's do ask, we just simplify this part of the mesh. So let's press W again to come back, and as you can see, this is a lot lighter to work, and to be honest, we don't need, this is perfectly acceptable to do a reverse engineering since you're not working directly on the mesh. The 80% is good. Another program that you can use, on the workflow, is the Windows 3D Builder app. And as you can see here, so this is the imported mesh, so you can see the patterns here from the scanner. If you select reduce or simplify, and let's say for example you select the one, it will do actually good work of simplification. It's quite fast. It adds the information, but you don't have fine control over the amount that you want to. So if you need to fine control, it's better to use a Mesh Mixer, or even try to simplify it directly on Fusion 360. So after you have the mesh, usually what I do in Mesh Mixer also, I use transform to make sure that the faces, top face, right face, left face, are orthogonal to the work planes. so that it's easier for you to reference the faces and build it on Fusion afterwards, or whatever CAD program you are using. So basically, Revoscan or whatever point cloud capture you have, cloud compare. In this case, I'm using cloud compare, but if you use, for example, reality capture instead of cloud compare to build your point cloud, it will basically replace both Revoscan and cloud compare, and instead the capture would be photography, and then you would use here the cloud compare, and then well, the process would be the same. You have to align your model to the orthogonal planes and then import it to your CAD system, and it has to be orthogonal, so it's easy to select the faces. So let's jump into Fusion 360. I already have my mesh here. Actually, this one was remeshed here. It was on the mesh reduce here. We can observe the mesh in the display setting, visual settings, wireframe. It will show that the mesh is a little bit more complex than the other ones, but it did a good job here. Has more information on the parts that it needs. Fusion is basically using the algorithm from Mesh Mixer, a bit more advanced because Mesh Mixer has not been developed for a long time. Still a great program. Anyway, let's start here. So I'll go back into shaded. Let's go into shaded with hidden edges. Shaded with visible edges only. Okay. Top. So what I did was I have already started here and created a plane and basically extruded this cube here that fits the volume. I also did this to make sure the planes were relatively correct. So now what I'll do is just start here and I'll create a new sketch. Let's create a new sketch. First, let's do offset plane from this face, and let's place it more or less at this face here. Okay, so let's do a create sketch in this plane, and I will just roughly create the model here. So okay, so this basically what we'll do is we can project this face here as a reference, just drop this into here and just drop that around here. So the idea here is to find, initially what we should do is just try to trace the shape as lines. So we can add a line here and basically use the point and extend it. And let's do the same here, and we extend this line here. And we'll do the same here. We'll add a line, escape, and prolong this line to meet the other one. And somewhere around here, so this is basically a line up to here, but from here to there it will be an arc. So let's create a line. Just press the initial point, click and drag. It will create an arc, a tangent arc to the line that we're drawing, and we will just drop it in the point that we started, and we have an arc here. So now what we need to do is just adjust this point until we have it in the right position. So somewhere around here looks like the right position. So let's say you don't want to move any of these, and since you don't have locked positions, you can basically select the lines that you don't want to move. In this case, I'll just select everything, right click and do fix and fix. That way you can just, even if you press a point or a line, you won't be able to drag it and it will turn green, so it won't move anymore. With this said, what we can do is basically select this shape that we created, do an extrude, which can be pressing the E key or going to let's finish sketch first. So if you press E key or go into create extrude, that's E key, you can just drag the shape to the size that you want. And in this case, since we don't have a reference here, we'll continue just to move it, or we could just measure the part in reality. So 20.1, 20.5, 21, 21 millimeters, 20.5 millimeters, 20.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.5. I say it's something like this: 20.5, 20.5. Actually, I think this shape might be slightly tilted, but we can basically change these shapes next. So okay, so what we did by extruding this, it will automatically created a merge between these two solids. So we extruded into this solid, and now we have a single solid body, which is here, and that's our scan. The first thing we should do is just try to move the faces, and basically if you select the face and press M, or if you select the face and go to modify move, as you can see there, M, you can move this face or even rotate it according to the pivot point that you have selected. So select face, move, and let's just make sure it's the right size. Minus 0.1, minus 0.05, 07, 08. Yeah, I think I'll go with 0.1. It looks more or less okay. The correct way is to just check the measurements, the real world measurements of the object, but I'll just eyeball it here. So this should be okay, and let's just check this one. So I would say this is probably not different, or maybe it is because of probably molding. So let's try to select face, move, select face, just this face, move, and then let's move the pivot to just this corner. We want it to be facing vertically, but in this corner. This will allow us, so we will confirm, this will allow us to tilt this plane here, like somewhere around like 1 degree. Okay, that looks okay. And if we want, we can also tilt it this way, like 1 degree also. I think it's too much. Let's just confirm. Yeah, it's too much. So it would be something like 0.1. I'm not sure if this is straight or if this is as a bend, or this is just an error of CAD. The way I would do this is I would take a measurement, real world measurement here, and the real world measurement here, and see if there's a taper because of usually there's a taper for injection molding to remove the face, but if it's the same size, it usually it's not, it just has the, if it's the same size, it's just a scanner or a point cloud registration error. If it's not, then basically you can calculate the angle and do the correct angle. I will just use this as plane here. Maybe this angle, maybe I'll keep this angle. You know what? No, I'll just use it like this. I'll just confirm. Let's just confirm one thing. Ask, escape. Let's just confirm the dimension. So it's 20.04. 20.04. Thing is, I'm not sure how is this made, but I think this is a single part. It should have some taper somewhere. No, let's use it as is. So considering we are okay, we are satisfied with this shape, what I'll do now is, and this is something that you do only at the end, is add a radius to the part. So I will just do a fillet here, which is F, or modify fillet here, and let's just move this until it's the pro is saying 4.5 millimeters. Yeah, I think this radius is 4.5, and I will just here, let's see this one, F. So the radius is 20. The silhouette is saying 19.5, so I think it's 20 because usually designers like round numbers. So this looks like it can be probably right. So we have the rough estimate of the model here. We can just now add the fillet all around this body. So fillet here, here, or basically just select this face and add a fillet, which is I think 2.5. Yeah, it's probably 2.5. Except that face one there, that face does not have a fillet. So we'll just select the edge, 2.5 with, yeah, something like this, and the bottom one will probably be the same. Yep, here you go, 2.5 also. Well, we can do okay here, and next what we can do is take care of these round files here. So f fillet, and this one is the same as here, top. Let's go into the top and let's move it. So this one is a 5mm radius here and there. Okay, so finally this one is not a radius. This is basically the same thing that we did on the initial model, but what we're going to do here, since we already have this mesh cube here, now we will do a new sketch. Select line, use the center point as a reference, the middle point, and that triangle there is the middle point, and click and drag in order to do, okay, it's not working. When it doesn't work like this, we just do a line backwards. For example, we do the line to here, ask, and then do a new line. Line is the L key. We click and drag. Now that it already has a line there, it can calculate the correct area. So we click and drag, we drop it on our edge, and then we do a escape. Then we can just go here and move our line until it is in the correct area. Something's not correct here, so the line should go here. Probably we need another line here, so the best way to do this is to just go on to modify and do a break here. It's not breaking because it doesn't have a point to break, so we have to create a new auxiliary line here. Okay, select the line that we want to break and create and do a break. Now it will break there. Okay, and we can select that point now. So that point is moving here. We don't want that point moving, we just want to move this one. So I'll do Ctrl Z to undo. I'll select this point and I'll select it and say it's fixed. Same thing on this side. I'll go select this point and say it is fixed. And now we can move that point without affecting. Actually, it's breaking up and creating readable things. Yeah, that's because the tangent is on. Let's delete the tangent and let's select the point. Okay, now we can do this. So with the 2 points fixed, that one's fixed, that one's fixed, we can move this one. This one's fixed. Let's unfix this one. Move it a little bit here. Nope. Too much. Okay, let's move it by 0.05, 0.1. Okay, less 0.05, 0.07. Looks okay. Okay, with this we can just select this edge here, do finish sketch and do an extrude, and while we do a negative extrude bottom, it becomes red, and basically we are doing a Boolean operation, and we're cutting out the part. There you go. Okay, so we have this part, we have that part. How do we replicate to the other side? Well, the easiest way would be to create an auxiliary plane to use as a reference. So the best way is just go here, do a mute plane between this face and that face, and this is the center of that part. And what we can do is either we split the body and just work on this part, or we can select the body, mirror it, and it should work. In this case I will use the option to split it. I'll select here, split here, okay, and I will just go onto the bodies and remove the body that I don't want. So delete. Okay, let's take care of the fillets. So it's a fillet here, which should be about 5 also. Oh, maybe not, maybe less. Well, definitely less. On the top we can see it's probably something like 3. Yeah, yeah, probably 3. So okay, this is a 3. And now let's confirm this face is at the right position. Let's move it until we are not seeing. So minus 0.1. We're starting to see parts here. Minus 0.15. And we're starting to see the mesh. This model has a slight curvature also on this side. We'll do 0.1, which is probably the top. Usually at the corners there's some errors in modeling, calculation. Maybe it could happen also because of the mesh simplification. Okay, so what we're going to do here is going to do basically the same thing that we did here by cutting it before we do the fillets around. We'll leave this at 0.05, just that tip, and we will go on to this face. I will temporarily turn off the plane. I'll select this face, select create sketch, and you can clearly see it has a arcs here. So what I'll do here is I'll just create an arc with a 3-point arc, and my arc starts around here, goes into there somewhere, maybe here, and has an arc like that. And just because we have to close this to be able to use it, I will just go to modify and extend this line until it hits the other one. So escape. With this we already have a face to cut, and I'll do the same here on this side. Create an arc, 3-point arc. Let's estimate roughly where it starts. It starts probably where we left the other one. Starts here, goes into maybe around here, and somewhere something like this. Yeah, probably. So let's do modify, extend this to the next line. If we do this, it will go into the infinity, but we don't want it. What about the bottom? Is the bottom straight? I think it is. Yeah, it is pretty much a straight line. We will have just moved the bottom face a bit. Okay, so let's select these two faces, finish sketch, select one face, select the other with the shift key, extrude, E key, and let's run this until it ends. Basically something like this. Looks okay. Let's just add the fillet here to confirm this is working. Fillet should be around something like 3, 2.5, 2, 2.5 maybe. Maybe not 2, maybe 2. Nope, 3, not 23. 2.5 is, yeah, I think the face is 2, but there's something not right here. Probably this face has to go a little bit inside. There's a problem here. We'll leave it at 2. We just need a rough model for this for now. We'll confirm this with the measurements afterwards. Yeah, there's a slight deviation here. Probably we need to move this arc a bit, or move this face a bit to the front. Yeah, I would say it's 2. Okay, this is a 2. And probably here it is the same thing, it's a 2. Yeah, it looks okay, but there's a little bit material sticking out here. So what we'll do is just select this face, move it like minus 0.1 millimeters, 0.2, 0.3, 0.35, 0.4, 0.355. Looks okay. And what about here? So this face we can try to move it just a teens a little bit. Let's select this face and move it. Let's select the pivot and put the pivot here. And see what happens if we try to move this by, say, minus 0.05, minus 0.1, 0.08. Yeah, 0.07, something like this. Looks okay. The shape's probably not that great here, so we can select this face, press Q. It's 595. This arc is a 595. Let's do a 595. Too much. Can do 594. 5945. Nope. 5941. 59405. Yeah, this is probably close enough. Well, it's pretty much modeled. This is pretty much modeled. We can probably try to fix this face here. Maybe this arc. Can try to do a Q. The Q is modify press pull, which extrudes a mesh in this case, since it's an arc or a face. Let's try 0.1, 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. Yes, this is looking good. The markers that I used are probably deforming the shape here, but this is looking quite nice. Let's do 0.1, and I think this is it. Okay, this is close enough. Okay, to finalize the shape, what we can do is, let me just confirm this face before I go. Yeah, I'll just do a Q here and 0.01, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09, 0.05, I think 0.06 is probably 0.07, 0.08, 0.09, 0.1. Yeah, let's just check the difference here. And this difference, guess we'll take it as is. Let me just confirm the dimension between this edge and that one, and it's 41.797, which is kind of a weird size. Probably 41.78. I don't know, I'll have to confirm this with a real model. Maybe this here is a little bit 2.2, 2.5. Looks like a compound arc. Probably there's an arc here too. I'll just leave it this as, you see this face here, 2.5. And I'm just messing with this face all around. I'll just leave it at 2 as it was. And cancel. Okay, finally we should replicate this part on the other side. The way I'm going to do it is just turn the plane again on, do modify, sorry, create and mirror. Now we select the object that we want to mirror, we select the plane that we want to mirror on, and we just do a join. So yeah, basically we got the main form. There's a couple of glitches here, but I presume it's a registration issue. I will have to check with the real model if there's a difference between this face and that one. I would believe this would be symmetrical. Maybe the model is not symmetrical, or maybe I just did not put in the correct area. Anyway, let's assume the model is symmetrical. We would have to use real data to confirm, and let's just see what we build here. Let's turn off the construction. So yeah, basically this is our reverse engineer shape. I would eventually do the other part, but for today it's basically what I'm going to do. I'm not going to mess around anymore because it's already late. So hope you enjoyed it, hope it's helpful. Drop a comment, let me know. Take care, masters.